So is the audio working? The all important question. Can we have some audio? What's the lag like? Do bits and pieces together. Missing the old missing the milk. Oh, we have a loop. Is it working? Alright. This show on the road. Nah. Jesus, hell yes. What's the crack? What's the story? Boom. He was here. Who we got here? Let's have a look. We have Guff Scrap on Deaf Skulls. You got here early. We've got Orc 40k. We have Ben Runciman. That's how you pronounce it. My apologies, Ben. We have 6+ Stevo knocking around. Showing off, saying he got his brew sorted. I just got mine going. Yeah. Giving out. No tea, so. Hey, lads. Tea and chocolate and all my supplies to keep me going. What's the crack? We have Colin Swinburne in as well. Way. What's the story, lads? So what are we talking about today? I'm going to talk about codex, what we know so far, what bits we've seen so far, and I haven't seen too much. I know there's a couple of things that aren't in the codex. I know like the big mech with custom force field is gone. The little wagon's not going to be in the codex, but they're going to bring it out in chapter approved, so we have open play rules, which is still a little bit annoying because we haven't had a looted codex or looted wagon in a codex since about 4th ed? Yeah, since the 4th edition codex. So it's a bit odd. But I wanted to have a little chat, a little gripe, a little crack at what's going on. I wrote down myself a list here of some stats, and we're gonna have a quick chat about the Stomper, about the absolute travesty that is the Stomper and what's wrong with it. Steve was like, so Skarnir, about this Stomper. Alright, so for those of you who don't know, I've been collecting orcs for a while. Show us your bits. Well, I have here. Look, there's a bits box, like one of many. That's mostly boys' bits, but I'll show you me bits another time. That's just stuff I keep handy. The Stomper. I wanted to talk about the Stomper. Now, apparently, after watching the Warhammer community, bat rep. For those of you who haven't seen it, pretty much they played orcs against Imperial Knights. They brought a Stomper on the table, and pretty much the orc player was tabled by turn 2. For those of you who don't know, we were getting a Stomper in the index, and then it's come down on points. It's coming out in the codex. It's 892 points. Right, so if you haven't been playing the game a while, this is it's a bit insulting to be telling us that it's now worth 892 points all in. Yeah, and you're probably thinking to yourself, well, why is that? I've bothered to hold on to all of my books because I'm a bit of an orc fanatic like that. So if we go all the way back to the First Apocalypse book, okay? We got the Stomper and we got the Big Mech Stomper. Now the Stomper we had all in this book. So back in 2007, when we got this book, we got a Stomper for 600 points. Alright? So that was the points cost when we got Stompers. They were 600 points. Okay? And they threw templates around that were this size. So I think a loss of templates didn't help. Giving us 3d6 dice. Not great. We have Guff Scrap saying Deaf Skull's Norwegian. Wonder what Skarnir's accent is. My accent is Irish, mate. I am from Dublin. I am from the Emerald Isle, the Green Island. I am from Ireland. So, 600 points in this guy, okay? Had a Big Mac Stomper for 650 points. We had a Stomper for 600 points. We'll leave that there. Well, actually, no, that's in reverse. We won't even bother. Next on the list, we had Apocalypse Reload that came out. This is in 2008. This came out for us, and we had a Claw Stomper. So we got a Stomper with no ranged weapons and just close combat attacks. That was 450 points for a Claw Stomper. Okay? And if we keep going, I have all of the books. So we have Apocalypse Reload. I'm sure it's probably looking weird on the old green screen, but I'm just trying to share the knowledge a bit. Next in the pile, March 2009, the White Dwarf, which is probably looking weird on the green screen as well. We got rules for a custom Stomper, which started off at 600 points, and then you had your additions on top of that. That base over your effects for a second. Yeah, doubling it. Definitely, right? So we had rules. The first rules for custom Stomper came in a White Dwarf. 600 points plus. Okay? Then we move on to 2010. We have the Radon Casterol Novum. If you're getting the drift, probably the best book that we've gotten for Stompers and custom vehicles. So if you're into orcs and you just want to collect rules, there's a lot of fluff, there's a lot of background, there's a lot of decent art. What the mean says, can read, shit, he filled us, good long time, boys. Well, I'm a Blood Axe, of course I'd fill you into thinking I can't read. So we had the Radon Casterol Novum, and we had a Stomper for 600 points, we had the Mech Stomper for 650 points, and we had rules to build a custom Stomper that started off at 350 points, and you worked your way up depending on what you did or didn't buy for it. So, another book. Now we move along to Sixth Ed. And this is where it starts going downhill in my eyes. So, Sixth Ed Apocalypse came out in 2012. Stomper cost, previously, we were looking at what, 600 points for a Stomper? Stomper went up to 770 points. Okay, so it's still Apocalypse. So for those of you who don't know, you didn't used to be able to bring like super heavies. It used to be specific Apocalypse games. You brought the Apocalypse rulebook and you played the Apocalypse games. So this is the one where it started going downhill a little bit. We ended up with the Stomper and it was 770 points. Then what happened? Games Workshop changed things around a bit. 2013, the Escalation book. Games Workshop decided, you know what? Why doesn't everyone bring like super heavies in standard games? And this is what we have here. So Escalation came out. We have the Stomper still at 770 points. But, you know, it's no longer... Apocalypse is part of the sort of core rules eventually. And that's what's happening at the moment. Then we move on. In my eyes, the absolute travesty. Now, I bought the limited edition codex, as you can see here. 7th edition codex, and we end up with the Stomper, and yeah, it's another travesty. It's just shocking. Like, points wise, still 770. You're looking at 770 points. Okay, cool. So that's what we have so far. Then we have the index that comes along. We have the Index Xenos comes along for the Stomper, and it's gone up in points again. It's gone up again. Its base points cost is 900 before we add in weapons. So as you can see, like from 2007 to 2017, the points have creeped up and up and up and up. So it's nearly 1,000 points in this, I think, in the Index, pretty much. And then we have like the Imperial Armor Xenos. Well, so you can get like a custom Stomper. It costs like, what, Imperial Armor Xenos? It costs like 1,087 for a custom Stomper in this. But nobody uses them because they're overpriced. And then in the new codex, the base cost for a Stomper all in is 892 points. And we're told to be happy about it. And they're wondering why we're giving out And it's because it used to be 600 points. And saying that 892 points and is cheap is quite literally, in my eyes, taking the piss. So, there you go. Maybe we want to talk in detail about other bits and pieces. What are people saying here? Bob the Memes, 647s if you give them everything, and even then you could probably never go all in on one. I loved Escalation until Knights came out and then ruined the fun. Yep, never buy limited edition codexes. That's right, Ben, I learned the hard way, never buy limited edition codexes. Not limited edition, there's lots of them made, and they never hold their value. So, if you're thinking of buying a limited edition Orc codex, and the new codex, I would suggest you not do so, because quite literally, the only difference between a standard codex and the limited edition codex is the cover. And so is the price difference worth it for you? It isn't for me. Who else is having a crack? Xenos book by Forgeworld because you're worthless. Yes, that is correct, Tim Reaper. It is pretty much pointless. But speaking of things that are pretty much worthless, we'll have a look at some images I have here. Things I'd like to talk about. And this piece of terrain that's being sold to us here, this Mech Boy Workshop, the rules for it are what I would call a bit of a travesty. And by a bit, I mean it's a lot. You know what I mean? It's like, so what they're trying to tell us is, if you forego your shooting for one turn, with the rules wise with this, you'll be able to shoot at your maximum dice the next turn. So 2 turns of shooting, and you'll get your maximum potential. Okay? And they were using the Stompa as an example of this. But if we take the average dice roll, so we use the Stompa, okay? So we'll change it over. We'll have a look at the Stompa stats. So they were using the Stompa stats in correlation with this mech workshop that's come out. So you'll forego 1 turn of shooting, and you'll shoot your maximum dice in the second turn. So every 2 turns you'll do a maximum of 18 dice. So if you're rolling 3d6 dice, okay, with the Def Cannon, this is what they were using that as an example. It's like 3d6 dice with the Def Cannon. And they're like, oh yeah, you know, 18 dice. So if you're rolling the averages, your average on a 3d6 dice roll, so if you're rolling 3 dice, the average you're going to be getting is 10 or 11. So you're either going to get 10 or 11, and your chances of getting a result of a 10 or an 11 is 12.5% every time you roll those 3 dice. Okay? The chance to get 18, so the chance to get 3 6s is 0.5% on 3 dice. And I think this is where a lot of the problem we're seeing with the Stompa and the rules for it. They're thinking of potential maximum value, and they cost weapons at the maximum damage they can do, even though statistically that's really bad. So we'll go back to the mech's garage that they're talking about, and they're like, okay, so you forego shooting for 1 turn, you'll get 18 dice, and you'll roll to attack with them in the next turn. It's like, okay, that's grand. So 18 dice over 2 turns. But if you sit down and actually do the math, and you take the averages, so even if you rolled an average of 10 and then an average of 11, that's 21 dice. So statistically speaking, you're more likely to get more attacks over 2 turns using the standard dice. So just rolling 3d6, statistically, you'll get more shots than if you use the big mech workshop over 2 turns. So if you use the mech workshop, it's 18 dice over 2 turns, where on average you're going to get about 21 with 3d6 shots. So someone in GWHQ can't do maths, apparently. That's how it's looking now. Don't get me wrong, I like the look of the piece of terrain, but it's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. Like, it's like, yeah, buy the mech. I'm pointing it the wrong way. Buy the mech shop. It's great. You know what I mean? It's great in-game rules. The in-game rules are terrible, man. The in-game rules are actually shocking. What this would be great for, though, and I have ordered one myself, what this will be great for is just standard battlefield terrain. Or if you're playing games of Gorka Morka, this would be great for Gorka Morka. Scrap tokens going around. Skid, you know what I mean? Maybe having having the mech workshop tucked away in the corner of your fort, or if you're building like mech town and stuff, it'll be great for that. But otherwise, game wise, unless they change it in chapter approve, it's just not worth it. Now, if it gave you your maximum potential dice every turn, then it would be worth it. But currently, the way it is now, just I don't know. It's just a bad joke. It really is just a bad joke. So that's the part of our stream that I wanted to talk about the rules so far and what we found out, and how I'm still blatantly annoyed about the cost of the Stomper. And you know, it's just they just don't get it. I feel Games Workshop give in one hand and sort of take with the other. So they give us the cultures, the movement buff is the dumbest one from Steve-O. It's like other guys, yeah, the movement thing was really dumb. The mech shop only gives max shots for one weapon. There you go, another reason. We have other comments coming in. Dim Reaper, the Mech's Workshop is giving me a hankering to build a Grot Bazaar. Apart from that, it looks okay. It looked like the piece of terrain itself, it looks alright. That's what I like it as a piece of terrain. That's where I see the value in it. But the rules that are attached to that piece of terrain are rubbish. They really are. It's pretty pointless in my eyes. Like if you're bringing that along rules wise, you can do so much better if you just do the averages. So apart from that, I'm just going to be building the rest of some of my kill teams. So I finally got my issues of Warhammer Conquest in the post today. And for those of you who don't know, who live under a rock, it's a magazine subscription. So they finally came along for me today. So I've taken them out of shrink wrap before this. And I'm just going to take them out of clamshell pack. And I'm just going to chill and chat. And I'm going to build these guys for my kill team. I've still yet to paint my commandos. I have the conversions there. That's going to be my orc kill team. I've had fun with that. And I'm just going to do this while I'm waiting for the codex to come. Because quite frankly, there's no point in me building orc stuff until I get the codex in my hand. Because I don't know what way I'm going to be building my list. My plan, I don't know about the rest of you, but my plan is going to be to get the codex, make a 2,000 point list, and I'm going to aim to paint that up. Mountain Yeti is asking, is the mech with custom force field gone for good? Well, technically, no. He's not gone for good. We can still use rules from the index, but that's just a holdover. So don't be dependent on this forever. This will eventually be phased out. This is how Games Workshop sort of approach these type of things. It's like, well, you can use it for now. I think it's sort of to placate people who are rather upset about the fact that their lovely converted miniatures are no longer viable in a tournament scene. But if you're playing with your mates, it's not going to be too much of a problem. You know what I mean? We have 6+ Steve saying it's reasonably priced too. He's talking about the Mech's Workshop. We have Dim Reaper saying the mech with custom force field probably is once the index goes. Yes. Once the index goes, you'll be gone. Bob the Mime is saying, well, I'm sad. I built a Warboss on Warbike, and now he doesn't exist. Steve-O saying, don't get me started. Yes, Steve-O, it's a bit of a sore point for Steve-O. He may have converted some mechs with custom force fields, specifically, and now they're kind of not around anymore. So I can understand that. The stance that Games Workshop seem to be taking of late is if we don't make a kit, and it's not even if we don't make a kit, if we make a kit, you're only getting rules for the bits that are supplied in the kit. Example being the truck. You won't be able to take rockets with a truck, only the big shooter that's supplied with it. That's another bone of contention with poor old Steve-O. He's probably losing the plot over there. Yeah, it seems to be if it's not on the sprue for the kit, it doesn't get the rules for it. Which is odd, because Games Workshops seem to have, portrayed a stance of, oh, we're all for kit bashing and converting and, get your conversions done and whatever else. And then they're taking this sort of approach to it where they're taking away opportunities. People aren't going to want to convert miniatures that they can't just walk into their local Games Workshop and use them and have rules to use them. If there's no incentive to build them, if there's no rules, then you're not going to build it. You know what I mean? That's not, it's just not gonna happen. So, and I don't get it, because people will spend more money converting miniatures than they will buying like third party stuff, even. Because I know, like, for example, me, all right, I know that if I want to build a like a looted wagon or something like that, I'm not going to be able to use any third party parts if I want to put it on Armies on Parade, or if I want to go to a tournament, or if I want to go to a Games Workshop event. I know that it needs to be Games Workshop parts. So me, a guy who's into the hobby and really wants to go to the likes of events and stuff like that, I know that I'm not going to buy third party parts. So I'll build me conversion, and then this sort of ruling that Games Workshop have taken, it just pushes people away from the hobby who otherwise would be quite happy, because now you're thinking to yourself, oh well, half my army's no longer valid. Why would I bother going to a tournament, or why would I bother doing Armies on the Parade, or other sanctioned events? It's not so much of an issue for people who play the game every once in a blue moon and play with their mates, but it is for guys who are probably like really into the hobby and want to go to events and stuff. I think it's just unnecessary penalising of people. Phil is saying, I'll also wait until I've got the codex in my hand before I buy more stuff. That sounds like a good idea. Guff Scrapper saying, you or Skarnir had a doc giveaway. Who won? The doc giveaway is not finished. It's a good time to bring it up. We have the Pain Boy. If you're not already in part of the giveaway, you have until the 31st. So midnight tomorrow, entries will be finished. But guys, I've been checking some of the guys who've been entering and commenting on the video. In order to win this guy, you need to like the video, you need to subscribe, and you need to comment and then add it to your favorites. If I can't view on your profile publicly that you have likes, that you're subscribed, that it's been added to your favorites, you can't win this. You know what I mean? I'll see your comment, we'll do the draw, and I know exactly what will happen. I'll draw someone, and I won't be able to see if they liked and subscribed, and then you won't be able to win. So if you've already entered and commented on the video to win this giveaway, which will end tomorrow, so you have until midnight tomorrow to enter in for the giveaway, okay? And then we're doing the giveaway on the 1st of November. So you have until the end of the 31st to enter. But if I can't see that you've liked, commented, subscribed, and add to your favorites on your profile, you need to put all that information public on your profile to win this. And I will ship it out to you. I'll do a draw. And if I pick your name and I can see all the information, then you win. If I pick your name and I can't see your information on your YouTube profile, if it's not public, then you're not winning it. You know what I mean? How am I can't read your mind. You need to go in and change your settings to public. We need to be able to see that you have the likes. Who is giving out? Oh, I've started rants here. So, Bob the Meme is saying, so I can't have the custom force field on bike. What's the point of orcs if we can't convert? That's another point. I was saying they're talking about that they want to encourage converting, and yet they're sort of hampering it in the other hand. So it's make up your mind. Either you're for or you're against converting. It's like Phil is saying we can, but not in match play. That's true. Guff Scrap is saying bring back the squats. There's always one. Dim Reaper is saying I made a little wagon and went OTT with it. Used a truck, ogre scrap launcher, bomb squigs, and loads of gruts and snotling bits. That's like 4 kits for one model. Exactly, that's my point. It's like discouraging conversions is gonna cost them more money, because 9 times out of 10 you're gonna be buying multiple kits or getting bits off of multiple kits. You know what I mean? You're gonna want, oh, I like the turret off of that Predator and it would look good on the back of a truck, and I like the main cannon off of that Le Mans Russ Demolisher. So you're picking bits off of several kits to make one model. It's win-win for them. It's perplexing that it's just counterintuitive in my eyes, you know? Less possibilities for conversions for them means less potential kits sold, like. But it's the stance that they're at. It's a case of if there isn't a kit for it, if it's not in the kit, it doesn't have rules, you know? Just only in the index. So, I don't know. This has me thinking, So if they phased out the mech with the custom force field, and they're phasing out all the things that are finecast, what does that mean for the orc special characters like Zagstruck and, you know, poor old Badrook? Like, Badrook is in finecast, so are they just going to phase all these guys out? Are they going to replace them with plastic kits? I don't think they're going to bother to replace them with plastic kits because, like many people have been lamenting, they haven't bothered to upgrade Galskull, you know what I mean? Like, I've Snick Rot in metal because I bought all these back when they were in metal, but he's in failcast now. So what's going to happen with all their special characters? Are they all going to be phased out now over time? I don't know. You know what I mean? It's very strange. Why would you get rid of the big mech with custom force field? It's a bit weird. We have, who else is giving out in here? We have Gus Scrap saying, bring back the Scots. Yeah, we saw that. Phil is asking how to add to favorite. You'll go into the video and it's in the bar where you can see share and stuff like that, and you'll be able to add it to your playlists, and you can add it to favorites. Ben said I only did that once. Bob the Mime said I did all 4 but don't want to win it. That's fair enough, mate. If your name gets drawn, you don't want to win it. You don't want to win it. Guff Scrap said I had to make a playlist for favourites. Well, there you go. Get the finger out, mate. Ben says, just checked out my favourites and it's full of Larry David clips. I have no idea who Larry David is at this very moment in time, but I will Google him later and find out. Bob the Mime says, yeah, I made an odd biker that uses at least 7 different kits with the bits I put on it. Granted, those are spare kits lying around, but I did buy them for other armies. Bill is saying, thanks. Yeah, it's true what you're saying, man. You know what I mean? Like, if we're doing kit bashes for the likes of this, like, this is easy enough for me because I'm an orc player. So these are all, like, knob kit from Assault on Black Reach. So that's one kit. Then you have like the heads off of a knob from the knob kit. Yeah. Then ammo grot from the standard boys kit. Shooters from standard boys kits. The heads for these Space Marines, they came off of a Space Wolf kit. So you're looking at what? Boys, knobs kits, Space Wolves. You're looking at least 3 kits, and that's pretty basic. There's nothing special there. It's when people start pulling crazy conversions out of their ass, and they're like, "Oh well, I'm converting this and I'm converting that." Well, like, hold on, I'll show you. Prime example of kit bashing and converting and just using things that aren't what they're supposed to be. We have Thunderbolt Fighter. Now, I was thinking about doing like a box opening for this, but to be quite honest, there's going to be enough box openings with all these bits and pieces. It's like, well, why do I have a Thunderbolt Fighter? I don't actually own an Imperial Force. But that's because I want to convert it. You know what I mean? I could have just bought a Dakka Jet and saved myself money, but I decided I'll buy a Thunderbolt like a mad bastard, and I'll convert it to a Blood Axe Dakka Jet. You know? But you won't get as much of that. You won't get that type of thing. People won't want to convert things. You know what I mean? Like, I've spent maybe, what, £97, I think, on that miniature, when I could have bought a Dakka Jet off of a third-party retailer for a third of that price. You know, if there's no incentive for conversions, if there's no drive for it, even with rules, you know what I mean? Why are people going to bother? They're just not going to. And it's got to be detrimental for the orcs in general, you know what I mean? Because we're renowned. As a hobby, they're renowned for conversions. Or orc players are renowned for conversions. In fact, I would say people would actually give you stick if you didn't have any conversions in your orc army. People expect it from orc players. They expect a lot of the army to be converted and kit bashed and scratch builds and all that. But if there's no incentive to have those miniatures kit bashed up so that you can play on the table with them, then there's not going to be as many conversions. There's no, you know what I mean? Why would you waste your time then? The other approach you can have is you can just play with your mates. It depends, like. If you play games with your mates, you can just update old rule sets, but it shouldn't get to that stage. It shouldn't have to be that you and your mates have to rely on making your own house rules to use the miniatures that you want to use. Like, I have a custom battle fortress. No rules for it. I couldn't play it. You know, there's like open play rules, but what's the point in having a looted wagon or a custom battle fortress if you can't actually play it? Match play. You know what I mean? Just doesn't make sense to me. We have Guff Scrap saying, I love scratch building stuff. I don't do tourneys, so I do have 2 to 3 vehicles based on kit bashing with 135 scale tanks and army vehicles. Also, Grotsnik rules. Grotsnik doesn't indeed rule. I'm getting my stuff together for decent sized commando units. As my Blood X army, that's a bit of a team for them. Hopefully, when I do my 2000 point list, once the codex comes out, a fair few commandos in there. We have Bob the Meme saying, so being penalised for kit bashing just isn't GW. Hell, they used to have a metal spare parts store back in the day. Now all that is gone. That is right, Bob. I do remember you were able to buy individual parts. I think Steve-O would be able to second that for you. Where he built a Chaos Lord, I think. Where you could literally do that. It would be like, you'd go onto their website and you'd be able to buy individual parts. So say you wanted to buy this part, and you wanted to buy that head, and you wanted to buy just that arm. If it was in metal, you could buy those individual parts, and you could, oh, it was back when kit bashing was in its prime. I'm telling you, man, it isn't the same anymore. We have Dim Reaper saying, least hobby friendly codex we've ever had. I don't get it. It just doesn't make sense, mate. It's looking to be a good codex in regards to the clans, but it's not looking as good in that they're restricting our conversion potential. Mountain Yeti says, just ordered my codex. Oh my. Well, I've pre-ordered mine as well, mate. I think there's quite a few of us that have pre-ordered them. We don't get any freebies here. We're not a big enough channel, you know. We're not shields over here, you know what I mean? So when I do get my codex, you will be getting a very honest review. A very honest review of what exactly I think about it, what's worth taking, and where they did well and where they screwed up, because I'm not on anyone's payroll. I don't get any freebies off of Games Workshop, so you can count on that. You can count on getting an honest opinion, as I have bought it myself with my own hard-earned cash. I have Guff Scrap saying, I used an Ogren to make my weird boy. Now I have to convert a bigger war boss. That's true. There's a bit of size creep going on. Bob the Meme says, from the looks of it, we are getting little wagons again. Just not in a codex, which means smaller tourneys and LGSs won't recognize the rules. That's true. You won't be able to play them unless you're with your buddies. We have Gilly Guy saying, I'm scratch building all my vehicles so it's easier to afford the green tide. It's one way to approach it. Dim Reaper, in Chapter of Proof, the open play only, you know, the game mode nobody fucking plays. That is very true. I've never played an open play game. I don't think I've seen anyone play open played game. We have Phil saying, I just made a new public playlist called Favorites and added a video. By the way, I also changed everything on my profile to public. That's grand, Phil. That's perfect. If you get drawn and I get to see it on your profile, you'll be in for a win. Guff Scrap's asking about the mail order thing from White Dwarf. Bob the Meme saying, yeah, Guff. Dim says he misses mail order so bad. Most of us do, man. Steve was saying, good times, Frankenstein's workshop. It was a Bits Emporium. You have Bob saying, so to get rocket launchers for heavy weapon squads, you had to use the White Dwarf mail order thing. That's true. You bought bits of everything. Rockstuff saying, maybe GW don't make the rules for models they don't make because it stops people making their own models before GW get their was name together. Make the kit, but people have already made their own. Yes and no. I would say that Games Workshop have probably been inspired by the player base who actually get the finger out quicker than Games Workshop in more than one occasion. So I think, you know, plucking ideas off of the player base is a good idea. What I mean, say now with GW's policies, that would mean you couldn't field them. Yeah. Tim Reaper saying, I won't be pre-ordering. I'll read a friend's copy. There's a fair chance the fluff section will piss me off. Well, since you're a fluff bunny, yeah, probably. I don't expect them to be able to write much along the fluff lines. Well, yeah, you're saying, I look forward to getting your input on the codex. Don't worry, mate. I will be blatantly honest. Dreadwell Gaming, worst interweb connection ever. On my end or yours, mate? He's saying, hi guys, remember 2008 being the last year of bits ordering? Sad times. Sad times, man. If only we knew. Bob's talking orc stuff. We have Gruff Scrap saying, if I take AOS dwarves and convert them to 40k and use the orc codex, as they be digging ob squads, would they accept it in tourneys? I don't know. It would look cool if you did it really well. I think you would have to talk to the tournament organisers beforehand. But I plan on doing a fair few conversions myself. But I don't know what it's like with AOS and 40k crossovers. In my mind, if I was running a tournament, they're both 40k products, I wouldn't have a problem with it. You know, but that's me. You'd have to just talk to the event organisers. I think most people's sort of idea of it is, as long as it's obvious at a first glance what you've made, then it shouldn't be a problem. Dreadball Gaming says they stopped it after that, back in 2008. True. Steve-O says open play is shit. I don't know. I haven't played open play. Nobody plays open play. I don't know why nobody plays open play. It seems like a really quick way to get a list built and done and get cracking, but nobody plays open play. I think the problem is that people, it's too open to abuse. So it's like, oh, alright, so I have orcs, mega knobs, and it'll be like, they're worth so many power points. Basic, and then you can add in their weapons. So, you know, if you take a basic unit, it's worth the same power points, and then you add in additional stuff. So people, it's prone to abuse, I think. I think that's why people don't play it. I suppose amongst friendly mates who could be reasonable with it. You know what I mean? I think it could be a quick and great way to like introduce your kids. Like, we'll just do power. We'll go from there and knock yourself out. You know? But I think the problem is, even if you're playing against your mate who's like uber competitive, of course they're going to stack as many buffs and additions onto their unit as possible, because some people are like that. It's like win at all costs, and some people are just naturally competitive. It's just the way they are. You know what I mean? And that's the mentality that's bred with like the likes of tournaments and stuff like that. That's the way they want the hobby to go, because to them that means more sales. They're quite happy for it. That's my take on it. But yeah, I haven't played an open play game. I wouldn't mind playing open play. It wouldn't bother me too much to give it a bash, but it's just open to abuse from people. I think that's what the problem is. How many folks just abuse it? We have Tim Reaper saying, just on the no rules, if they don't sell the model against argument, read the new Lord of the Rings Army rules. It contains rules for every model they made pretty much, including models they no longer sell. That's a fair point. Bob the Mime says, DM, they are required by contract to make with Tolkien, and yeah, the line every model says has to have rules. Guff Scrap says, ooh, Sister of Battle squats. I'm already made Escher squats from Necromunda. Won't be too hard. Pictures or it didn't happen. Them saying, yeah, but there's a few OOP that they provide rules for as well. Seems as if it's good enough for Lord of the Rings, but not 40k. I think Bob the Mime has a fair point there. They're probably contractually obliged, and therefore their hand is being forced to keep the rules of those miniatures in the game. But it, like, I'm just trying to think of it mentality-wise. Like, what have we lost? So we've lost the big guns. We've lost the big mech with custom force field. We've lost rules for the biker boss. The standard biker boss is gone. We've lost rules for... what else? There was options to build, like, a pain boy on a bike as well. Wasn't it? There was a few of them. So I'm thinking of all the units that we've lost, that we actually had miniatures for. And then I'm thinking of other factions. And it's like, over time, we seem to lose stuff. But over time, other armies don't seem to lose as much. You know what I mean? There just seems to be additions upon additions. Because that could be one argument for it would be codex bloat. Well, if they kept every unit that they've ever made for orcs in the orc codex. Well, that one went for a bit of a swim. They kept every unit they ever made for the orc codex in the orc codex, it would be bloated. But then on that same mentality, like how many Space Marine units are no longer usable or that they got rid of? You know what I mean? It doesn't cost very little to keep an extra page in a codex. And God forbid, like, they wouldn't have as many pictures of miniatures and stuff. Like, I understand that's more for the new guys rather than the old school guys, but I'd be happier with more rules, more potential. You know what I mean? Having a bit of a laugh with it, but it's neither here nor there, lads. That seems to be the way they're going with it. I just don't like their contradictory, oh, we're all for conversions, yet we're giving you less options and making it more restrictive for you, so it's harder for you to justify doing conversions. It's like, well, make your mind up. Either you want us to do conversions, or you don't. You know what I mean? Who is giving out? We have... Is are busy in the chat, I'll give you that much. Is are very busy in the chat. We have Orc Stuff saying, I've got 4 DACA jets, but all of them were built long before GW put their kits out. I did buy a GW DACA jet. Made a Mecha Dread with it. That, yeah. It's like, oh, I bought a jet. What did you turn it into? Mecha Dread. Mega Dread. Awesome. Dim Reaper saying, I guess as Middle Earth isn't their IP, they care less. I don't think it's that they care less about the Middle Earth IP, Dim. I think it's more a case of they're contractually obliged to keep up the rule set because it's not their IP. They can treat their IP however they want, and clearly do. Whereas if it's someone else's and they're being told, leave the rules in, that's the way we want to keep it, then that's the way they'll keep it. To be quite honest with you, I'm surprised they still have the Lord of the Rings IP. I would like to see some of the stats on what their sales are, because I know 40k seems to be a large chunk of it. It's partly why they decided to do a reboot on Warhammer Fantasy altogether. Apparently Space Marines are a large chunk in and of themselves, which is understandable. They're the heroes, you know, that everyone's drawn to, that sort of story. The knights clad in armor in space. Very very sort of primal, the heroes that we all have them in our cultures. The warrior heroes. So that's where the attraction is, the poster boys. We have Steve-O saying they took a big section of the rulebook to say, hey guys, no rules. True. Katata Fish is in the house. What up, Katata Fish? What up, Cat? You gonna get your shiz together? You gonna start making videos again, man? One of the OGs, man. We have Bob saying lies. That is not Cat. I know. It's like he's risen from the rise, my minion. He's back from beyond the grave. We have Guffscrap saying I can't find the core rulebook in the web shop. Bob saying, so new orcs got you to come out of hiding. Yeah, well, that seems like a good reason. That's it, Cat. Get yourself a codex. Guffscript saying, one thing is more or less rules. Make them so one can understand them, but then that would require them making solid rule sets, which I've never said Games Workshop can do, let alone proofreading. We've Cat saying, yeah, dude, life got in the way. Was reading a ton of 8. Heard things, and I did get back to painting, and I needed to get back to painting. I know the feeling, mate. That horde has been growing and very little has been painted. Painting a little bit, but not much. Dim is saying, asking for consistency from GW is like screwing for virginity. Oh, I wouldn't exactly phrase it that way, but yeah, I understand. Kat is saying, my house of 4 years ago now has a dedicated 4x6 Warhammer table in my office. Nice gaming space, man. Nice. Once you have a hobby area, get that ball rolling, man. Get some bat reps going, Cat. That'll be good, man. We have Dim Reaper saying, yeah, the contract thing makes sense. Cat saying, been working on that lately. I'm painting odds and ends to get my brush control back. Yeah, I found that as well. It's like, if you don't keep at it, if you don't keep painting, you sort of lose the the dexterity a bit. And then, do you know what I find worse when you stop painting for a long time? You're thinking to yourself, it's like, alright, I really liked how I painted the skin on these orc boys. And then you go back and you're like, oh, I didn't write it down or I didn't make a video. What exactly was the painting scheme exactly? You know what I mean? If you leave it too long, you then have to try and rediscover. It's like, well, I think it was this one, and I think it was, it's like, nah. That's what I find. And we have the who's talking now. We have Dim saying, yeah, still annoys me though. Bob saying, so new cat vid coming up soon. Have the toe pedal mic set up. Yeah, the foot to talk. Yeah, man. Oh my god, that's back in the old vent days. The old foot to talk. That's impressive. For those of you who don't know, Cat's foot to talk was pretty much we used to be on a push to talk on a vent on Ventrilo, and he had a button set up on the floor so that he could keep painting and hit the push to talk with his foot. Chap was class. He knew his stuff. You have Phil saying, sure, I also prefer playing match play. Who's calling me? Have people calling me during my stream? No, and the battery fell out on my phone. Oh well. Could have a fish, yeah, still have my toe mic. Yeah, I should do a video on my table. It's turned out quite good for now. Yes, bat reps, Cat. Bat reps. What did you do with those space wolves, man, that I sold you years ago? I want to see if you still have some. Have you painted them? What did you do? You know what I mean? I'd be very interested to see what happened with my old wolves. With my wolves of old, because I used to collect space wolves back in the day before I got obsessed with orcs. Very obsessed with them. They are my core army now. Whereas Space Wolves, I had a lot of Space Wolves, man. I don't even know exactly how many Space Wolves I had. I had a lot of Space Wolves stuff. We have Bob saying, at Skarnir, if one would have a Discord to join where people like Cat and me to talk, now would be the time to plug it in. Doable, man. We could do a Discord. I'm pretty sure I have a Discord server if people want to hang out and do hobby and stuff. I'm sure we could organise a Discord and get people chatting and hanging out and getting more hobby done, because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. Get the hobby in and get it done. That's not a bad idea. I'll put that on the to-do list, the Discord. We have Guffscrap saying, I really don't like the Nurgle figs. I don't know why. They are well made. There's an aesthetic to them. I found myself, I'm not mad about them. Some of them look alright. Some of them look pretty cool. Like the Plague Marine. So I have one here that I sort of started painting but didn't quite finish. And it looks okay. They're not my favourite miniatures. Obviously some of the orc stuff is absolutely mint. But aesthetically they seem alright. But I think the problem is, I started to notice it with Warhammer Fantasy before they turned it into Age of Sigmar. And I think it's got to do with how they now sculpt them. So they sculpt, these are all digital sculpts. So they make the digital sculpt. And then, obviously, they'll make the masters out of it. But they're not, the stuff isn't hand sculpted anymore. So it doesn't have that natural texture to it anymore. It's all very bubbly and very smooth. You know what I mean? So it's okay for the likes of vehicles, but when you're doing flesh and clothing and cloth, I find that the old hand sculpted miniatures, myself personally, just on the aesthetics of it, I find the old hand sculpted miniatures looked a lot better when it came to organic material, like this blood and stuff like that. Like, obviously they can do a lot more now with the technology than they used to be able to, because some of the old plastic miniatures were absolutely horrendous. We'll go back to the days of yore. So we have a goblin here from Hero Quest, which is actually not a bad miniature, but it's very sort of flat and two-dimensional because of the casting process, and it doesn't have as much detail in it. And it was for a board game, so it's probably not the best example, but you get a rough idea of what I'm saying. But basically, I find that the metal miniatures were great. And when they hand sculpted stuff before they cast it, I think it suited the organic material better. when it comes to power armor and stuff, it's not too bad. But when it comes to the likes of the flesh areas and the organic areas, I think it becomes more predominant. You know what I mean? That aesthetic sort of affects it a bit more. Whereas if it's just power armor, these are smooth surfaces anyway. They're not organic. Very sort of polished, finished surfaces. So it's suitable for the likes of power armor and Primaris Marines. Whereas the organic material, not so much. So that's my theory on it, of why you may not like them, even though they're well made. I personally think the organic stuff doesn't look as good in their new sort of AutoCAD. Who is saying what? We have Bob saying, yeah, Scar used to be a doggy and he got deflated by Cat's trading post. Defleed by Cat's trading post. Yeah, I traded him away. I just stopped using them. I had like over 10,000 points of Space Wolves sitting there, and I was like, I just sold them off. Orc Stuff is saying, I've nearly finished my 29 Sunborners Borna boys that I started in 29? I started in April. Trying to do 29 individual looking, but obviously Evil Sons is zogging hard work. 29? Like, I can understand if you're like max capacity of a bottle wagon, but maybe if you wanted to put them in 29? 29 burners? Are you aiming for like 2 units of 15 or something like that and sort of give up one guy short? Bob is saying the new Death Guard are too cartoony. Great minis, but too silly. Yeah, I think that's probably it. Like, it's suitable for orcs. Orcs are cartoony as hell. Like, they're caricatures in and of themselves. This is one of me ard boys who's missing one of his shoulder pads. And I'm well heartbroken about ard boys not being just in the standard codex. They're a command point now. Oh well. Well, it has annoyed some of the people is Scar boys. So Scar boys are coming back, but they're for goths only, which doesn't really make sense because it's a natural progression in the orc development. So you'd start off as a youth, then a boy, a Scar boy, and then a knob. So it's a natural progression for orcs, but apparently it's just the goths that'll get it. We have Guff Scrap saying, wonder if they will do AoE 40k next. I don't know. We'll see what happens. They just... Well, I don't know what they're doing with this game anymore. It's changed so much, like... Changed so much. Hating on this isn't too bad. I tried to do a bit of weathering, but I didn't want to go over the top. Like, I've seen some people have made it look so rusty that it would probably break if you hit somebody with it. Dim Reaper said he loved those old Hero Quest minis. Yeah, they're class, man. I have a whole Hero Quest set because I got 2 boards. So I got 2 sets of Hero Quests to try and make one complete board out of them. And I bought some extra goblins off of someone because I was short a few of them. Because it's another project on the back burner. So it's like I bought some bits, like the old terrain that you got. This needs to be stripped back. So I bought this bit as well that came with the goblins. I predominantly bought the goblins for the Hero Quest set. So I got goblins and orcs because I was short a few. And then there's like the old cardboard and plastic terrain. Which, if you think about the age of it, it's not too bad, the detail. So I'll probably strip that back. And I don't know, I've been thinking maybe I should do like plastic art and stuff. But whatever, there's no point in... This is like a project way, way, way down the line. At the moment, it's orcs. I'm getting that codex in my hand. I'm getting 2,000 point list made. And it's getting smashed out. I have some of my killicans ready. They're not even primed yet. I have them all built and sanded and based. And you know what I mean? They're all ready for the old airbrush. But I'm just waiting on that codex. Even bothered to drill out the barrels and stuff. Don't forget to drill out your barrels. Very important, you gits. Get your barrels drilled out and your exhausts. But even the weapons for these have changed. Like, there's going to be different close combat arms depending on what they're armed with. So it's like, you don't know what to be building. You really don't. It's like, it's just perplexing somewhat. The Who saying what? We have Phil saying, I hate the fact that they make us use CP to have Scar and Ard boys. Yeah, I'd agree with you, Phil. I think making us use command points, I think it's more that they weren't part of the initial plan for the codex. I think with command points, they can be easily added on. If you know what I mean? Like, making a command point for a unit is a lot easier than rewriting some of the rules and actually points costing up the unit. So I think it was sort of tacked on at the end as an afterthought because people were asking for them potentially. So that may be the answer, but that's just the theory that I have. Orc stuff is saying maybe it's all this CAD gubbins that means orcs don't get nice things anymore. Born of boys are 9 in a truck and the rest in a skullhammer, which still ain't finished either. Which also still doesn't have rules, really. I think you can use the Battle Fortress rules and open play. But where's the Skullhammer rules gone, huh? We don't have a kit for it. Therefore, we don't buy any more Baneblades. You know, it's... Make up your mind, Games Workshop. Team Ripper were saying there was a recent Not Hero Quest Kickstarter that claimed a fair bit of my money. I saw that one on Kickstarter as well. The sculpts were awesome and it was very Not Hero Quest. I was tempted, but like I said, I have an original board that needs refurbishing, so I have my plate full. Ben is saying Hero Quest was a favorite board game. I think most guys, if you played Hero Quest, it was hard not to like it. I grew up playing Hero Quest with my friends. One of my friends had a copy, and we used to just play the nuts out of it, man. My friends were gits though. They always made me be the Dungeon Master, the DM, because apparently I read the scenarios very well. So I never got to play as a hero. I always had to be the bad guy. And I didn't mind too much. I like setting up the dungeons. I like putting out the monsters and reading the maps and the scenarios of what the players are going to be fighting against. And yeah, it was entertaining. Like, it didn't bother me too much. So my experience of Hero Quest has not been from the hero's perspective, but as the dungeon master or the game master. But it was still fun. Still had a laugh. With good memories with it. And we have Guff Scrap saying, some people say orcs just put a pipe on a twig and it's a gun because they believe, but I disagree. The tech to have at least an illusion of fixing, you know. Guff Scrap, I think I understand what you're saying. I think what's wrong with 40k at the moment, and a lot of the culture in and around the game itself, is everything is turned into a meme. Like, look at the 40k groups and stuff, or even talk to the GW staffers, even in the HQ, were saying it to me. It's like, oh, well, orcs will believe, so it'll work. It's like everything's become a caricature of itself. So, like, or you know, this whole orcs will believe, it'll work, therefore it'll work. It's like, what? They're just gonna jump up onto the carpet, believe it's a flying carpet, and lo and behold, it flies? It's like, that's not how it works, man. And don't get Dim Reaper started on this stuff. He'll go on a rant that'll last 2.5 days. Who else is saying what? We have Kat saying, for the most part, the wolves are repaired and restored where I could, and actually given to my friend who was going through a brutal divorce. She kept his armies from him. Oh! Oh! Ouch! Well, at least I know they've gone to a good place, man. Cup Scrap is saying, drill out them barrels. Keeping your armies in a divorce. Man, he must have pissed her off. Proper. Either he pissed her off royally, or she was not a pleasant individual to start off with. Yeah, I don't know. That's a hard one, man. That's like, well, you can't have your toy soldiers no more. That would drive you to madness. It really would. This arm goes that way. Yay. Alright, we'll glue that on. I believe she still... Kat is saying she still has them all. Ugh. Well, at least he has the wolves. They went to a good home. I knew they were going to a good home. So I wasn't sorry to see them go. And that's the interesting thing. I know it was the right decision because the amount of people I've talked to with the hobby over the years, and it's so many guys you'll come across and they'll be like, oh, I sold my army back years ago and I regret it. I don't regret selling the wolves. I really don't. I didn't like what the direction they took them with that 4th edition codex, I think it was, the one where they had wolves riding on giant wolves. I was just like, they became a meme of themselves, like everything in 40k. I just wasn't happy with the direction the Space Wolves went with, but I've never regretted selling them, to be honest with you. I'm quite happy. I think I held on to Logan Grimnar, one of the metal miniatures, and that's it. I just held on to one miniature as a keepsake. But I don't regret selling them. But I know even if I fell out of love with the rules and the codex for the orcs, if I was to sell my orcs, I know I'd regret it because I have so many orcs now. I have so many units that they don't even make anymore. Some of the Forge World stuff, some of the old school units. Like I have old school units knocking around. Like the weird boy being fired here by his minders. Like I've so many little tidbits and bits of treasure, and you know what I mean. I've so much invested into the orcs, and not just that. I like the orcs so much as well. Even if they were to ruin them fluff wise, I'd still play them against me mates, or I'd still make apocalypse games and stuff like that. Just make your own fun out of it. But like I said, everything's just a parody of itself. That happened to the Space Wolves, but I just grew away from them. I discovered orcs, so I decided orcs were my main focus. And I drifted away from the wolves. I just didn't like the direction they were going in, and just weren't fun for me anymore, so they were just gone. Here we are, yous are busy chatting away here. We have Ben saying, what strategy are you going in for with your blood axes now that the clan cultures are out? I was looking at a few of them. And I was looking at the Storm Boys have gotten their... The Storm Boys have gotten their ability to deep strike back, and I've like 60 or so Storm Boys, maybe more. I might even have 90. I have a lot of Storm Boys, so I'm thinking I'm going to be doing tactics-wise. I'll be having like sneaky commandos coming in, units of commandos infiltrating, units of Storm Boys coming in. I'm liking some of the sneaky infiltration command points that we'll have. So, you know, using the likes of a Gorkanaut or something like that, you can get that to deep strike in and stuff like that. You could have fun with it. It'll be interesting. You could also use some of the command points for the blood axes to redeploy your units, and I really like that. This is what perplexes me. This is what I don't understand. It's like, on one hand, we're getting like good command point rules. We're getting some great rules for clans and the armies individually. So they're giving us that flavor. So we're getting that on one hand. But then on the other hand, we're losing rules for converting units. Get in, you bastard. We're losing rules for converting units. You know what I mean? Just, it doesn't make sense to me. Where it can be good in one regard. So like they give with one hand and they take away with the other. So is that plague dude's built? Yeah, I'm not too happy about this sprue. It got damaged in transport. And they're multiples, as you can see. Warhammer Conquest, we already have some of these, so I think I'll build these dudes next. That's those out of the way. Who's saying what? Phil saying that's a point. Orcs saying you don't have a kit for it. Tim Reaper saying that misconception of resonance is my biggest trigger. It's crap. Orc resonance works on belief, but orcs have no imagination apart from mad boys. Yeah, don't trigger them. Steve-O saying that sounds like one evil bitch talking about the army. Gup Scrap saying some people have no soul. Orc Stuff says bounces with wolves. I got the pun. Dim Reaper says anybody else noticed that limited edition Slime Marbo is now on direct as a regular model? Limited edition with Games Workshop is never what it seems. Do you remember Space Hulk was limited edition? And then lo and behold, a few years later, they re-released it again with some additional parts. So you can never tell with Games Workshop if limited edition actually means limited edition or if it's going to be out at a later date. You really can never tell with these guys. Need to be careful that I actually glue the correct torsos onto the correct guys here. Bob saying, don't forget Logan Claus on his Santa sled. Oh, yeah, man. I'd be tempted to buy one of them and paint them up satirically, but it's just not worth the effort. Really not worth the effort. It would be hilarious though. 1, 2, 3. Where's 1? Trying to find the numbers on these sprues. Oh, there's 1. Oh, it's this head. That head with that arm and that torso and stuff. So I'll glue all that together. Gubscrap says, Space Wolves are not nearly wolf enough, but I favour the salamanders. Gubscrap says, if by winning you fail and you fails to win, did you win or did you fail? Tim Reaper saying, existing orc units on pre-order? Really? I know, man. Because they've rebased them, they count as new units. Oh, and orcs are on 32mm bases, which is retarded. Oh my god, I may have done a video talking about how moving from 25mm bases to 32mm bases might be a bit of a nerf for a horde army. Can you sort of see where the issue might be in that regard? You know, hordes of orc boys, and you need to be within 1 inch of a mate to be in combat. So say these guys were fighting here. You know what I mean? Theoretically, you could get a third guy in, because 25mm, you know, on the 1 inch, you could get a third guy in, because he'd be within 1 inch of him. But not if they're all going to be on this size base. And I am in my Swiss. But it ain't happening. I am not upgrading my boys to this size base. And it's the same thing with the rules for the index. They say now, oh, well then it's fine, it's okay. You can use your orcs on 25s. But yeah, are you going to be saying the same thing 3, 4, 10 years down the line? I doubt it. Oh, well, you've had 10 years. You should have changed the bases by now. You're alright, mate. Don't worry about it. You're grand. Cuff Scrap saying, is it too tight? Yes, the head was too tight. We have Ben saying, I've got 60 slopper boys, 60 shooter boys, and 60 grots, and I've no idea what strategy I'm going with now that my big mech with custom force field is gone. If you haven't painted a clan yet, I would suggest you not do so. Hold out until you have the codex and then go from there. Because some of the clan traits are pretty cool. It just depends on what clan you like. I'm Blood Axe. I've always liked the Blood Axes. They've always resonated with me. I've liked that they do tactics and they do camouflage. They're mercenaries. They trade with the Imperium. They use Imperial vehicles. I've always liked that aspect of them. So I'm always going to use Blood Axes no matter what the rules for them are, the specific clans. But that doesn't stop you from having like a detachment of Bad Moons or whatever if you're that way inclined for all the Daka. I don't think I'll be doing it myself, but you never know. So, it depends. Do you want to do Daka? Do you want to do close combat? Do you want to do bikes? What way do you want to go? Like, in regards to mech with custom force field, you can still use the rules off the index for now. But you might want to invest in a Mega Armor Warboss. Or, we don't even have a Mega Armor Warboss. I mean, a Mega Armor Knobs kit and make a big mech out of that. Might be the way to go. Or convert yourself a Mega Armor Warboss out of it. That'll also be a good idea. Ghost Scrap says, never follow the manual or the numbers. Well, I don't for orcs, but I think if I put the wrong torso on the wrong guys when it comes to Space Marine, it'll be so blatant and obvious it'll look crap. When it comes to orc boys, I just cut bits off and go with it, like, you know what I mean? These are sort of assembled by the numbers. And you don't really want to ruin them. Because that's the problem with Marines as opposed to the likes of orcs. They have an aesthetic when it comes to their power armor. It all has to be pristine and perfect and shining. Whereas with orcs, it's like, oh, it's rusted and battered and dented, and it's a bit more forgiving, their aesthetic, but it's not an excuse to be sloppy. I think too many people do that. I don't mean to sound like an elitist snob when it comes to orc conversions and kit bashing and stuff like that, but I think some people use orcs culture and their aesthetic as an excuse to be lazy when it comes to converting stuff. You know what I mean? Whereas miniatures like Space Marines are less forgiving in that regard. This one be 5. 4 and 6. So this is literally just assembling by the numbers, which is as boring as it gets, especially for an orc channel. But they just came in the post today. And I want to get them built for kill teams. So this will be part of the Primaris kill team. And that's pretty much it. Once I get these intercessors and aggressors built, it's like the Primaris kill team will be the 3 guys I'm building here. And then the 3 guys that we got in issue 1. So these gits plus these dudes here. So it's like 6 miniatures is 100 points. So that's 1 kill team. And then hopefully there'll be enough Plague Marine stuff between the zombie dudes and the Death Guard, the 2 sets of Death Guard. So this unit of Death Guard will have to be converted up, depending on what way I want to play it for kill team, which I haven't decided yet. I'll have to sit down and go through my Norgal list. I made a bog standard Chaos Space Marine list for kill team using the push fit Chaos Marines, which aren't the best model wise, but they're functional, you know. So I use them, and I use cultists, and I got that out of the Execution Force Assassinorum board game. So I have cultists from that, and I have Chaos Space Marine. So I have played a bog standard Chaos Space Marine warband, and actually played alright. I managed to win a game against orcs. We'll have the Norgal kill team. We'll have the Primaris kill team for the Marines. I also have a load of snipers and stuff. My orc kill team is going to be using commandos. It's like 2 looters, 6 normal commandos, a commando knob, and then a grot. That's my orc one, and I played that when I was in Warhammer World the other weekend. Not last weekend, weekend before. And the orcs were fun, actually. It's quite interesting because of the modifiers. The orcs always hitting on 6s, which was a great addition, and I think it was a good idea, the direction to go that way with the codex. Who is saying what? Yous are all busy chatting away in the chat. There's loads of yous. My god. Not 25s. Didn't you say 28mm, not 25s? Yes, in my video I may have thought about the scale that the game was originally, and said it wrong. Gilly guy said if they were going to put the orcs on new bases, they shouldn't have gotten new. They should have gotten new models too. That's a fair point. Like the orc sprue, as good as it is, it's like it's as old as the hills at this stage. Dim Reaper, I'm sick of GW's boner for 32mm bases. Aren't we all, mate? Ben is saying, which one of the models that's within 1 inch? Oh, so in the example, if I go back to it. So, the whole being within 1 inch. So if they were fighting this dude, guy in the 3rd rank would be within 1 inch of someone, because their bases are small enough. So this guy would be within 1 inch of this guy who's in combat, if you get me. Whereas if they're on bigger bases, that's not going to happen anymore. So you won't be able to fight in 3 ranks. That's the kind of nerf. But then there's buffs and whatever. Orc stuff saying my trucks are just too useful as movement trays. They are indeed. They help. Moving mobs of 30 orc boys across the table is a chore in and of itself. Bob saying, he's talking to Dim. Dim saying they look stupid on those bases. It doesn't help that GW loves sculpting models doing the splits basically. Yeah, and people were using the excuse that the orcs overhang their base. It's like, this sort of overhanging has always been like that. If I bother to dig up my rogue trader orcs, some of their champions literally have half their foot sticking off their base worse than that. So I didn't see that as a valid excuse. Gus Scrap has said, if not heard the audio, G, Prophets of the Wa, it's really good. Yeah, it got to look functional. But an orc that looted the Primaris armor, can he make it fit? We can make anything fit with brute force and ignorance, I suppose. Kat is saying, so what do you have remaining in armies that you play? Obviously orcs. What else? It's primarily orcs. And then what's happened lately, Kat, is I've gotten into Kill Team. So I've subscribed to the Warhammer Monthly magazine. That's where I've gotten all of these type of guys from. And then I have like Gene Stealers and stuff. It's all different bits and pieces I've picked up over the years from various games. So I have a Tyrannid kill team. I don't have any other armies. The only armies I have are orcs. Orcs are the only army I have. But I have bits and pieces of other miniatures from either buying Space Hulk or like Lost Patrol or some of the board games where it's like the Assassins. So I have all the Assassins from that Execution Force game as well. You know what I mean? I have like a Gene Stealer Cultists from the Kill Team. I have the Mechanicus Dudes from Kill Team. I don't buy additional stuff unless it's like Imperial vehicles that are going to be looted. Like the Thunderbolt. The Thunderbolt's an Imperial vehicle, but I'm going to loot that for my Blood Axes. So apart from, unless it's going to be looted by my Blood Axes, it's just whatever for Kill Team. You know what I mean? We have Guffscrap saying, I hate monopause, but that's just me. I need to pause and cut and fix things. Yeah, it can get a bit repetitive really quickly, but if you want to get stuff on the board quick as possible, monopause doesn't bother me too much. When it comes to my orc army, yeah, like there's the masses of boys, but trying to convert every single boy, you'll be at it for years. Ask Orc Stuff, he converts every single thing, and it takes him a year and a day, but it looks amazing at the end. Kat is saying, are you just painting for Kill Team now or also building 40k? I am doing both, Kat. I quite enjoyed the couple of games I've had of Kill Team with some of my mates, but I've been waiting for the codex, the Orc Codex to come. My plan is to get a 2,000 point list made for the Orcs and then go from there and just smash out that 2,000 point army, get it painted as quickly as possible. And then I could probably get some battle reports done. I need to invest in a decent camera, because currently I'm just using my webcams. I have my webcam here, my webcam there, which is all rigged up to my PC. So for the time being, my mobile phone just isn't good enough to be making decent enough videos to have bat reps. But that's the plan in the future, is get the codex, get the 2,000 points of orcs painted up, paint up the kill teams as I go along, play some games of kill team and play some games of 40k. And, you know, I might play like Hero Quest eventually, or Space Hulk if people are interested in seeing that, or Battlefleet Gothic. Just depends, really. We have Orc Stuff saying, just seeing those Primaris Beakies, can't help wondering if they haven't put Orcs on 32s so they can't swamp the Beakies so easily. I don't know if it's intentional, but that is a side effect of it, so they can't be as swamped. Cat is saying, still have... Bob is asking Cat if he still has the Crimson Fist, so I do remember that army. Liam is saying, Orc Stuff, I think you're bang on there. Potentially, yeah. You won't be as swamped as much because you won't be able to get as many in base contact. But I think that's the way the rules have been leaning anyway, because if you remember back in like 5th edition, it used to be anyone within 2 inches of someone in combat. That's been cut down to 1 inch, and there's a base size. So it's like Horde armies have been nerfed a bit, but then we're getting buffs from the clan rules. So it's like, I don't know. I'd have to play several games to throw it under my belt. But yeah, I'm not too happy with the prospects of throwing orc boys on bigger bases, because I think they'll just look lost in them, man. Like, even just standing them on it, it's like, that's huge. You know what I mean? That's fine. I don't understand. Like, some of the other units, yeah, they could probably deal with it. Like, Stone Boys. If you're converting Stone Boys, I'd probably put them on the bigger base just to make them more stable. But apart from that, not so much. Orcs was saying I was cringing as you said it. Lionator Gaming, I don't mind monopause for the first time I build a model, but after that it's a bit annoying. Yeah, it can get repetitive, man. It can get repetitive. Guffscrap saying I missed the beaky helmets. Ben saying battle reports are my favourite. You and Steve-O should have an annual matchup for bragging rights and destroy your friendship. That sounds like a good idea. He only lives over in the UK, so he's a plane flight away. It's not too far. I'm sure we could organise something if you poke him enough. He'll well, I think it's a case of the two of us don't have fully painted armies, and if we wanted to do a battle rep like that, we'd want to have proper fully painted armies and the terrain, and make a proper a good quality battle report of it, because there's no point in putting out subpar stuff. You know what I mean? People we've enough subscribers now where you sort of you have to keep a consistent standard. So I think that's it. Like once the two of us have painted armies, it's just get a game going. You never know. Bob is saying monopause works for one-off models. When you have 50 to 20 to look identical, freebooters, Nazgûl, the fun is taken out and monotony remains. Yeah, it's really prevalent in horde armies with these push-click miniatures. Cat is saying, Bob, yep, over 5k of Crimson Fist, over 5k of Orc Evil Sons, over 2k Necrons, and about 1500 points of Grey Knights all painted. That's a lot of painted miniatures. That's a lot of dedication. Fair play to you, mate. Cat is saying, working on adding mechs and Necrons from Forgebane now. Sweet. Throw up vids when they're done, man. Orc stuff saying, makes me laugh looking at the overhangs on those Gene Stealers. I know, man. This is what I don't quite get. It's like they give out about... People were giving out about how overhung the Orcs are. But Gene Stealers are still on 25s, man. They're still on those size bases. Like, Gene Stealers would probably suit them. Like, they still overhang like crazy on... Like, if you post it back a bit. Still overhangs a fair bit on the 32s. But yeah, these guys are staying on 25s. But this is going on a 32. Because there was some people saying on the video made, maybe it's toughness 4. Well, this guy's toughness 4. And this guy's toughness 4. Well, he's staying on that size base. And he's getting put onto that size base. I don't get it. Like, if it was toughness 4 across the board, yeah, okay, cool. If it's only like toughness 2 and toughness 3 that's on 25s. But that would mean that there'd have to be some consistency in the game, which seems to be a thing that Games Workshop just don't have anymore. You know what I mean? Just does not happen. There's no consistency of it. If it was a case of it was based, if your base size was based on something that corresponded to your stats, like toughness or something like that, that would make sense. So I wouldn't have as much of an issue with it then. I've Guffscrap saying, oh, 2-ball knobs tournament. Potentially. You never know what the future holds. Shake that 8-ball and see what it says. Guffscrap saying, got to go big, you know. Yeah, well, I don't know about Apocalypse. There's only so much you can fit in a suitcase, but I'm sure something could be sorted out. Bob saying, just don't do a drunken fight as 2 bald knobs after dark isn't the press you need. That is a fair point, Bob. That is a fair point. Ben is saying, I will start a GoFundMe for a first place cup. Oh, yeah. A little trophy, a little, the best of the knobs. Or the artist knob. There you go. That'd be the trophy, the artist knob. Orkstuff saying, do you want to borrow a couple of armies? Yeah, I do have several armies. I think we want to do our own armies for now, Orkstuff. That is a great offer. And your miniatures are awesome. But I think if me and Steve-O were to fight each other, we'd want to do it with me and Steve-O's miniatures that you've seen converted over the channel. And the head bashing going, you know yourself. Then Reaper saying, not just push click. Cat is saying, oh shit, Clarkson, I forgot that was your alternative name. Well, that's that light bulb going off. Team Reaper saying a lot of new stuff has limited fixed poses. Casey Mad, I got a feeling they would change to 22mm bases when a Gene Stealer codex drops. Might happen, mate. It might happen. I don't know. You'll know when they re-release it and they'll rebox Gene Stealers with bigger bases. And quite frankly, I couldn't be bothered. It's too much effort. Bob saying, Cat, I closed the Clarkson channel a long time ago. Wish I kept it. Bob the Mime is more unique. Could rename this one, I guess, if I worked it out. It's up to you, man. Lionator Gaming saying the amount of Gene Stealers hangover is really annoying when they're grouped together, getting tangled up on each other. Well, even just think about it for combat, right? Like, trying to... Let's just try and gank this. Like, they can't even get in base contact, so you have to place them sideways, right? It's just... It's not practical. It's literally not practical. You know what I mean? So I would understand putting Gene Stealers on a bigger base, because it's just like, it just doesn't want to happen, man. You know what I mean? And that's 2 of them. So if you faced in the wrong direction, you'll get them in combat. But yeah, even still, it's just, yeah, it's a mess. It's a bit of a mess. So putting these guys on 32s, I understand. It would probably like make a hell of a lot more sense. You know what I mean? Because they fill out that base quite a bit anyway. You know? And they still overhang a fair chunk, but you're more likely to actually get into base contact. Steve-O's laughing his ass off. We have Guff Scrap saying, "Don't a wizard staff have a knob at the end?" Now, don't make me start censoring the chat now. Keep it clean, gents. Keep it clean. Ben saying, "Talk some shit about him, Steve-O. Get it started." Oh, mate. Most of the conversations we have do be good. Do be a good laugh. The banter that we do get on. So it'd be interesting. I would be very interested to see our take on a battle report. Well, like I said, it could happen, and we don't know when, but it could happen soon. We have Dim Reaper. Gene Stealers are just lots of free hugs. But that's what you have for harms. You know, they just want to give hugs, and they just sort of forget that they have claws attached to the end. And they probably make sad faces when the people they try to hug just fall over dead with all these stab wounds. You know? They just want to go around. Oh man, that would be hilarious. Could you imagine somebody converted Gene Stealer cultists with like a cardboard sign around their neck just saying free hugs? That would. Yeah. It's a. Yeah. Free cuddles and steal your genes. Running around with genes converted on them. I suppose. Yeah, the whole genes. I think I've seen like a caricature of that. We have Orcs of saying gene stealers must be getting curried fart attacks from the distance. Go scrap. Don't cut your fingers. Steve was saying it will happen. Stop trying to jinx me. Just because you cut off half your thumb. Don't be giving me hell. Cheek of you. You're trying to jinx me now, lads. Like, what happened to Skarnir? Well, he was doing a live hangout, and Steve-O told him not to cut himself, so lo and behold, he ended up cutting himself. If I can get these pegs trimmed down enough, might actually go together. Paying attention for once. I'll throw the backpack on. The least likely to cause me to lose a digit. Clarkson is saying... Oh, Clarkson has changed his name. Clarkson, the mime. The thing is, you play with the presumption of the base it was supplied with. So if you have the old Wraith Lord on 40 minimum bases, you can laugh now. Yeah, but it just depends on the tournament. Like, some people... I've already had reports of folks where they're like... Tournament organizers are saying you're modeling for advantage because you're using the smaller base. And that you're going to be forced. So it really does depend on what tournament you're going to and who it is. Like, saying that it can be used on the base it was supplied with is just another stopgap to keep people happy. Why in the sweet Jesus is this not fitting? You know what I mean? Just to placate people in the short term. It's the same with the index. It's just to placate people in the... Oh my god. Struggling here, gents. I'm struggling. It's just to placate people in the short term. Keep them happy. To shut them up. Oh, drill out there. Oh, perfect size. And then after, well, like I said, it's the same with the orc bases, and it's all well and good saying that, oh, you can use it on the base it was supplied with, but how long's that gonna last? You know what I mean? Before that changes. God, fits. Like, you're gonna get a couple of years out of it, you know, 3 or 4 years from now when you're going to a tournament. They're gonna be like, oh, well, orcs don't come supplied on that size base, and you'll be like, oh, but, you know, when they changed it, they said we could still use the base it came supplied with, and it's like, well, you've had 3 or 4 years, about time. You know what I mean? I can see that argument happening. I can see people being like that, being branded as sort of modeling for advantage. And getting annoyed, because quite frankly, I would be annoyed. Very much so. And it's not just the in-game terms, it's the whole... Like, how many guys have like 300 something plus orc boys on bases? And then it's you're expected to change it? That ain't gonna happen, mate. That ain't gonna happen. I am definitely not doing it. No chance. No chance that I'm changing all those bases, especially not now. Like, I've hundreds made. I actually don't know how many orcs I have made. There's a lot. An awful lot of them made. Several of them. Several hundred of them. Who is saying what now? Who's having a gander? Got some... It's kind of saying, here are you guys watching for bat reps. I'm looking for condensed, well-produced and entertaining bat reps. Yeah, it just depends. Different people have different styles. A lot of the old school guys like the shorter bat reps because that's all we could upload. If you're new to YouTube, back in the day we could only make videos that were about 10 minutes long. So if you look at my old battle reports, they're all like, jump, 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 tell them what's going on. That's that turnover and next. Because you didn't have long to do it. You know what I mean? You just had to get as much information in as short a time as possible. And go from there. So, who do I watch for bat reps? I don't really watch anyone for bat reps. Nobody has decent orc bat reps. I just find... I haven't found someone who does decent bat reps yet. So, feel free to put any suggestions in the comments for a decent orc bat rep. Well, some mini wargaming do some good ones, but I don't like the whole paywall they do. You know what I mean? I understand that's their main sort of form of income, but I just, me personally, I don't get it. You know, I don't do a paywall. I won't do a paywall. You heard it here on this stream here. Skarnir will never do a paywall for his shitty content. Gonna have to move some of these guys out of the way. So that's one of them built. That's most of that kill team built. Sweet. Chimaera's kill team. That's the thing, like, kill team won't take too long to get bat reps together, but I need to get money together. I need to save up me pennies, get a decent camera, or even a decent phone, so I can do bat reps from that. You know? That's the plan. I do plan on doing them in the future. Just a case of having the hardware that's good enough. I found decent editing software, so I think I can definitely edit a battle report or two, but I don't have the means to capture it. I don't have a decent camera. I don't have a decent phone at the moment. I just need to save up a bit and get something good. And then once I have that, combined with, you know, kill teams will get painted up really quickly, so probably you'll see a kill team battle report before you'll see a 40k one. I already have battle mats, I have terrain, I have everything else I need. You know what I mean? I already have guys in the area probably willing to play. Do a bat rep, so... there you go, look. I don't even know how I did that. Managed to cut myself. Obviously it's not as bad as what Steve-O did to himself, but it happens. Who is saying what? Guffscrap is saying you don't do corn, no blood for the blood god. I used to do a chaos army back in the day, so I actually have like a corn champion sitting on my desk, but yeah, that was back in my Warhammer Fantasy days, back years ago. Henry Mendez is saying tabletop tactics are the best bat reps. I'll go and give him a check out. Tim Reaper is saying you can trust GW. What's he saying? You can trust GW to keep that going indefinitely. I doubt it. Guffscrap saying cut off the knob, then glue. Potentially. Clarkson saying, damn, they've kept it for the last 25 years. Unless they change it now, it will be the same forevermore. Also, Skarnir, just call me Clarkson. Okay, Clarkson. Future reference, I'll just call you Clarkson. Guffscrap, Gorks wills it. Talking to Catatafish, Lionator Gaming, Neck, Minute, GW Race, and Adapter Base Kit. I don't see them doing it. I think they're quite happy for you to just buy whole new bases. It had a fish. I need to watch them. Help get up to speed on 8th edition. That's always a good idea, but you have to make sure that the guys you're watching are doing their battle reports correctly, because we all make mistakes. The last thing you want to do is learn badly. It's like when you start a new job and they get you to shadow someone as opposed to actually train you in fully. What tends to happen is if that person has bad habits, they'll teach you those bad habits. So it's the same with battle reports. You need to find someone who's really good with the battle reports and knows their stuff. And then, yeah, watch them. Otherwise, you might end up watching guys and you end up with bad habits. And you're thinking of rules one way and maybe that's wrong. So that's the only thing I'd say if you're going to be learning. Make sure the guys you watch know their stuff. Keep up to date with it. Dim Reaper saying, Battle Rep live stream could be a thing. That could be a thing. I can't fit a table in this small room I'm in now, but I'm sure could sort something out. You need someone to watch the comments though. Yeah, you'd need a third person to be the administrator, so but that could be like something that could be organized in a game, a day of gaming. So like if you were doing, say if there's 3 guys and then you just take it in turns, then you'll have someone being like the commentator and being like the moderator on the comments while the other 2 play. That'd be interesting, but I think you'd need like lapel mics and all that type of setup. Unless the person commentating, I don't know. It's an interesting format. I'd be open to the idea. I'm not knocking anything. It's just what I have to work with. Monetarily, I'm not flush with cash. Like I spend most of my spare money on toy soldiers, as you can tell. So it just depends. I don't know, it could be something we could do. Dim, if we end up going over to your place again. Wanted to do a live battle report from there or something along that lines, I don't know. Could be organised. I don't know if Steve-O wants to do a live battle report eventually, but it all depends, like you said, you need that third person. In you cheeky. You saying what? Cup Scrap saying blood axes for the many Black Templars and now they are running about in Tabard yelling Gork wills it, Mork wills it. Gork or Mork, whoever you decide. Gilly guy saying gonna change my 5 knobs to the new base but my 50 boys are staying small. I agree with you there, man. I started to change all of the knobs that I bothered to build over to the bigger bases because they filled them out. They're going to be on these sizes anyway, but the boys I'm keeping on the small ones. And we have Batmech dramatically reported through dramatic dance or through the use of puppets from Guff Scrap. Lionator Gaming, yeah. Thing is, a lot of channels are doing paywall things similar to mini war gaming. Paywall things, yeah. I'm not a fan of paywalls. You won't be getting that on this channel. If I do a bat rep, it's a bat rep. I don't like this whole. I'll entice you in with like episode 1 of something, and then you're gonna have to pay to see episodes 2 and whatever. Clarkson is saying no longer in London Scare. No, I'm back in Dublin. Clarkson, I moved yet again. I'm forever moving and bouncing around. Lionator saying, would it be possible for you and Steve-O to do a bat rep on TTS? I have no idea what the abbreviation Tabletop Simulator. Did I not crack down on Tabletop Simulator? I thought Games Workshop cracked down on a lot of the Steam stuff, like the mods and tabletop simulators. Steve-O saying, Bad Mills gunning down blood axes live. Sign me up. Yeah, that'll be the day, mate. Clarkson saying, no one wanted a 3-way with 2 bald knobs, though. Battle report. Get your mind out of the gutter. Well, entertainment's entertainment, mate. Guff Scrap is saying, you need 2 commentators. These 2 guys from the Blood Bowl vid game do a good job. So then we need 4 people for the 1 bat rep. The logistics keep going up and up as in this concept. We have Dim Reaper saying, oh, my gaming royal could be available for that, even if we got Steve-O up for it or some such. Well, there you go. So that's me and Steve-O and then Dim. So we need 1 more person to commentate apparently. Apparently we're doing a live stream battle report. It's the first I've heard of it, but it's feasible. It's doable. Mind you, you're the other end of the UK. You and Steve-O could not be further away in the land of the UKs, unless one of you has lived in Scotland. These are the other end of the map. Totally. Couldn't be further away if you tried. Scrap saying, when are doing a sign campaign against the new bases? We don't like it, we should do a wow. Well, mate, if you want to start a campaign against the larger base sizes, you fire away and I'll sign up. I have my plate full. I have a very large shipment of miniatures coming my way for the pre-orders, the new codex. So hopefully that'll come in this Saturday. I bought a few extra bits and pieces for conversions I want to do for future projects. I bought several of the vehicles, of the new Orc vehicles. And by several, I mean all of them. Because, yay, unboxing reviews. That's a question I'd like to ask you guys. With the new vehicles, I'd like to do like an unboxing just to show them. But instead of doing like 6 different unboxings, because everyone's done a Cult of Speed unboxing, I was thinking maybe I could do just one unboxing video where it's like, look, if you're interested in looking at the new miniatures, I'm going to show all of them in this video and then I'm going to build them all in this video. Would you guys be interested in that, or should I just not bother? I'm not going to bother with a Speed Freaks unboxing because everyone and their cousin has one. I'm just waiting for it to come in. But if guys were interested in seeing all of the new miniatures unboxed and then assembled, I could do that just in one video. I was thinking of doing just one video if I bother at all. That way people aren't bombarded by 1,000,001 videos. Oh, another unboxing of this buggy and another unboxing of that buggy. It's like, look, here's all the buggies. Here's the video. Here's how they go together. That's what I'm thinking. Either that or not bother at all. I have Kat saying, hey man, a buddy of mine is a pilot for Sunwig, one of the airlines in Ireland, leases a crew and a jet from Canada to fly out June to September. Trying to get me over to Canada. Well, my passport's still valid. Dim is saying north is better. Kat is saying they put him up in a 2-bedroom flat and can stay there anytime I want. I gotta come for a game or two. Kat, you tell me when, man. I'll book the days off. We'll get a bat rep going. I love how we have an international community and yet we're willing to crack on, you know? So if you want to get your ass over here to the Emerald Isle for a battle report, Kat, I'm game ball, man. Just give me enough notice. I'll take the days off and we'll get it going. We have Clarkson. Cracking on. Lionator, GW cracked down on a bit on Tabletop Simulator, but I believe there's still quite a bit there. I've never played Tabletop Simulator myself. I'm honest, Lionator. Now that I've actually bothered to get back into the Orcs, I haven't been playing video games as much. But when I do play games, what was the last game I played? I played a lot of No Man's Sky when they actually updated it and it was on sale. I play a lot of The Forest, some of the 40k games like Gladius and Dawn of War and all that type of stuff. Space Hulk. I have a fair few games. I spent a lot of time on Rust. That is what I regret. I think I spent like 600 hours on Rust. That was not time well invested. Claction saying, if Cat is coming to the UK, I'm not missing out on crumping these Umis. There we go. I love to see the extra bits that come in them. You could also just do a live stream with them all and unbox them and stream and have a video with them built. That's actually not a bad idea, Clarkson. I was thinking about doing something like that because it's going to be a large... I'm going to get like... I'm pretty much anything new for the Orcs I've ordered. So it's even Dice, the Codex, all the new vehicles, that mech shop, the Cult of Speed. I've ordered all of that. So I could do a live vid where it's all just in 2 hours and then we just do unboxings and then I'll just show a video of them being built. That's not a bad idea actually, mate. I like that. Guff Scrap is saying, yeah, live build and free chat is cozy. I was going to Netflix, but this is nicer. If you're near Trondheim, I have a tent. Dude, you must love Rust. I got addicted to Rust. That's the problem. I made friends with people on Rust. And you know how multiplayer games, it's actually fun when you have mates to play with? And I was always getting called back with them. Called back by my friends to play Rust. They're like, oh, we need help, Skarnir. Come online and help us fight these guys. Or come online and help us fight those guys. And then I'll play it for like a week or two. And then I'd get sick of the game again and uninstall it. And I got to the stage where I was like, no, I'm not installing it again. Go away, leave me alone. Because I just, oh man. Yeah, I think it was like a 4 or 5 month period. I spent like stupid amount of hours. It was like 600 hours or something. I just got addicted to it. The whole having to constantly defend your base and fight against other people or trade with people. I used to like trading with people online. I'd be more the type of guy who'd help noobs out rather than just like kill them for the laugh. I don't have that malice in me, I'm afraid. That some people tend to have. Miniature on the floor. Eating pegs, man. The pegs are a bit tight. Bit of a tight fit, alright. We'll make it get there in the end. Oh yeah, that's going to be the Primaris kill team. I was thinking of doing these as Ultramarines, but I might change my mind and paint them as a different chapter. And I was thinking, I don't know, like what chapter do you think I should paint them? I'm thinking Ultramarines is a bit boring. I could paint them as Ultramarines because you're supposed to paint them as Ultramarines at the Warhammer Conquest magazine. But I might paint them as a different chapter. Chapters I like Crimson Fists are pretty cool because they fight orcs a lot. I like that. I don't know who else. Suppose you could do like Hero Fists. I won't bother doing them as Space Wolves because I've done that in the past. That fits and that fits. But what do you know? The drill actually comes in handy. Clarkson is saying there's new orc stuff. I thought GW forgot. I think GW forgot what month they said they were releasing all their stuff on, because November's White Dwarf has an orc on the front of it, whereas Orctober apparently didn't. And as soon as I saw that codex, or not that codex, as soon as I saw that White Dwarf didn't have an orc on the front of it, I knew something was amiss. I was like, uh-oh, this ain't gonna end well, mate. You know what I mean? I quite like that they have like one large shoulder pad and one short one. Looks kind of cool. But that's him done. But the last one. Some hobby going. Guff Scrap is saying Vulcan lives, Salamander. So we have a Salamander fan. Steve-O saying invent your own chapter, buddy. I could do, but I'm lazy. If you paint them as Smurfs, I'll fly to Dublin, Glasgow to kiss you. Smurfs. So, oh, now, do you mean Ultramarines or do you mean literal Smurfs? That'll be hilarious. Guff Scrap saying Digonob Primaris. Steve-O saying that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna paint them up as Crimson Fist potentially. Lionator, Crimson Fists, as the plastic is already blue, so it would be easier. Yeah, but I'm not a fan of, like, in the Conquest magazine, it tells you to paint directly over the blue plastic. And this is the sort of blue it ends up becoming. You can see here, because of the gloss still on the plastic, that this hasn't been painted and his face hasn't been painted. But I'm not a fan of it. Painting directly onto it. You know what I mean? I'm not a fan of painting directly on plastic. It just feels wrong. So I need to prime them all black, I think. So this guy's painted like ultramarine blue as a test here, but I wasn't too impressed in that regard, painting directly on the blue. Because there's some parts of them I can still see. Because painting blue onto blue sprue, it's like, it's a bit difficult. If you're painting directly on black primer, you know if you've missed painting something. You know what I mean? Whereas I'm looking at this and I'm catching it in the light at different angles and I can see that I need to repaint this bit. And there's other little bits of blue here and there. But yeah, I might do, like, I might just prime them all black and then go from there. Do like a... I like the idea of Crimson Fist, if I'm being honest. I do, because they fight orcs. It's the same with Yarrick. I like Yarrick because he fights orcs. I like the whole enemies of orcs. This being like fun narratives. We have Clarkson saying, paint them as a Legion of the Damned. Gilgo is saying, Duel of Mentors, they'll absorb your bad luck. Lionator, or at very least a blue coloured chapter. Might do, but like I said, I have an airbrush. Guff Scrap saying, White Dwarf held back so they wouldn't spill the leaked spoilers. Yeah, I think they were sort of forced. Their hand was forced in regards to the spoilers for the orcs. So they splurged too much. They told us about speed freaks and all that type of stuff too early. Then there was like a large period of quietness, and then we finally got some stuff in October. Henry Mendez, of course you approve of Crimson Fist. We can tell by your icon. Clarkson saying Ultramarines are Smurfs and Glasgow Kiss isn't a good thing. I know what a Glasgow Kiss is, and I'm aware that Ultramarines are called Smurfs, but I thought you meant literally convert them up as Smurfs. So give them like the little white hats and paint their trousers white and have the rest of them as Ultramarines. That literal Smurfs. Cupscrap saying, any angry Marines? I don't know. I've seen the paint scheme for angry Marines, and I get the satire, but I do like the look of Crimson Fist. I have to say, I'm leaning more and more towards them. The more I talk about what chapter paint them up as. Smurfs, angry Marines, or Crimson Fists. My Little Primaris, Friendship is Magic. That sounds like somebody wants them painted up as My Little Ponies. Super. Well, what do they call them? What's the marks on them they have? They have like stamps. You'd have to paint stamps on their... What's they go on their shoulder pad? Lionator, lol, didn't realise you'd put paint on it yet. Yeah, you can, like... This one is painted, and this one isn't. It's like, what's the point? What, you know what I mean? It's like, literally, what's the point? It's so hard to tell the difference. Like, you can tell because there's a gloss and it's a slightly lighter blue, but what the hell was the point in painting that blue? They're so similar, especially from, like, if you're looking at it from a tabletop point of view. Because on average, we're going to be looking at miniatures that are about 3 or 4 feet away from you. So over a meter away. You're not really, apart from the gloss, like, you're not really going to be able to, like, differentiate the colour of his face to the colour of his armour. There's not that much. It's mostly the gloss, the shine on it, that you can see the difference. It's like, what was the point in painting them blue, like? We have Dim Reaper saying, what do you call a bunch of scattered asteroids? Rin's World, yay! Because more home worlds destroyed is better. Clarkson saying, salamanders hate orcs too. I think most Marines hate orcs, in fairness. Salamanders are kind of like green. Well, what I could do is I could paint these Primaris that are the kill team up as Crimson Fists. And then I plan on, I have Space Marine Scouts anyway, so I could do like a Space Marine Scout kill team. I could do up a different chapter for different kill teams to sort of mix it up a bit and not get too bored. Henry Mendez is saying Black Templars. Man, I remember when everyone and their cousin... See, when I first got into 40k, 3rd edition had just come out. And the artwork was of Black Templars for the 3rd edition starter set. So everyone and their cousin had Black Templar chapters back when I first started 40k. I remember that, like, everyone and their cousin. And they're so easy to paint. They used to just paint them black, do their symbols on their shoulder pad, and they were done. They didn't even bother dry brushing them. It was like, prime black, paint the metal on the gun, do the shoulder pads, sorted. Cupscrap's asking about tattoos. Clarkson, problem they had is that at Adepticon too much was leaked. So they had their hands tied. Instead of holding back and just a teaser, they went all out. I agree with you on that one, Clarkson. I think they were forced when those images were leaked to play their hand. Clarkson says they use coloured plastic for people who don't paint. So you know that blue is good and red/green is bad. Yeah, I suppose. It's more like board gaming pieces more so than anything else. But I'm surprised they didn't do this years ago. Like, this only happening now is a bit of a mystery. But even like in the standard, in the Kill Team box set, they didn't really bother with it as much. They have like bog standard grey that were used there for the Mechanicus, and then the Gene Stealer Cultists are this sort of off-coloured grey. But I've noticed in like the terrain in some of the box sets, it'll be like browns and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I'll see if I have, yeah, of terrain up here. And well, like this is, what set is this from? One of the Kill Team. This is the that Mechanicus sector. You know the terrain box set? I've forgotten the name of it, but it comes in this sort of brownish color, and the standard plastic is this grey. So they've started to do like terrain sets, and a lot of the sets they've started to do that isn't in standard grey a lot. Because I've loads of this bloody terrain since I got into Kill Team. You know what I mean? So it just depends. Different sets they're doing in different colours. They're doing those sort of that off brown for terrain sets. Obviously, like the greens for the Nurglings, and some of the orc stuff was green as well. Even. And that this orc green that you get for the Kill Team set, it's a slightly different green as well to the Nurgle stuff. As you can see, it's sort of a darker sort of green. So even visually between the greens and stuff that they do, you can see that there's a difference. So I think it's good for people who are in the progress of painting up their army, or people who couldn't be arsed and they just want a visual difference between the two of them. I think it's a good idea in that regard. We have Guffscrap saying, "Oh, there is paint. It's the blackest black. No mouse, no light bounces back. So all shape is lost. Void Marines. I hear that paint is expensive. Yes, paint can be expensive. It costs. What does it cost for a paint pot? One of these guys. I think it's like at least €3, like €3.10. And then if you're talking about expensive, these sort of shade pots, these bigger pots again, these are at least €6. So you're spending a lot on them, like, you know what I mean? Like, I've allowed them at this stage, but for someone getting into the hobby, the likes of Warhammer Conquest, because you got these with the Warhammer Conquest, plus the sprues, you know what I mean? Like, that's a character, that's a lieutenant that came in one of the issues, and what did the issues cost? Like £8? So it's like, that's not too bad. I think they're charging like 20 quid for characters these days, which is astronomical. It's like charging 20 quid. Yeah, it's like it's a character sprue. So the character sprues that we have, like this paint boy, just the boy by himself, is at least €20. It's crazy, some of the pricing. You know? So it'll be the same for some of these characters. The pricing just, it's madness. Absolute madness on some of the miniatures. The pricing is absolute madness. Just don't know how they justify it, to be honest with you. We're putting the last one together. Last one of the Reaver dudes. And he will be the last of the Kill Team. And I think we're going to make this Kill Team, the Primaris Kill Team, Crimson Fists. I think. I like that idea. And then the Space Marine Scout Kill Team, I don't know. We'll decide on that chapter. Some people seem to want Salamanders. We might do Salamanders. We might do something else. People are asking for Angry Marines. We might do Angry Marines. I'm not too sure yet. But I think we'll do these guys Crimson Fists. So we'll have to go out and get paint to paint them Crimson Fists. What are people working on? Lionator, White Scars. They like go too fast. They like go too fast. It wouldn't suit the new speed freaks. White Scars, painting white. Two colours that are really hard to paint on miniatures. One is white, the other one is yellow. So you have fun with that, Steve-O. Clarkson's talking to Vantis Black. Oh, that's the one. Is also not sold to the general public. Oh, that's right. That's like Super Map Black. I've seen that. I've heard of it. Guffscrap saying, no fear, no respite, no mercy, no cookies. No cookies from you. Someone stole them from the cookie jar. We have Dim Reaper saying, oh, so you're done with the WoW banner, finally chucking paint on it. Yeah, man. I've started painting them. It's gotten to that stage. I've only just put some orc skin on him. But yeah, he's finished being converted and built. So the paint's going on him. The Bad Moon Wild Banner Knob, I reposed them. I wasn't too happy with how that banner was going because it was blocking the grot. But I need to build a stock, I think. I'm going to build like a wire stock or a collapsible stock. And then after that, I think he's done. It'll just be a case of painting him up Bad Moon coloured. Yeah, so he's nearly ready as well. And then I'll move on to another clan. I think people wanted a snakebite one, and I wanted to buy a skull set for it, but like I've a lot on me plate at the moment, so I'll get around to him eventually. Clarkson's talking to Guff Scrap. Orc stuff saying, don't know if the colours balance on my screen, but the green placky my orc team came in was Kermit the Frog green. Yeah, it's not far off Kermit the Frog green. Steve was saying, building last Mega Knob now. Sweet, man. Sweet. A box set you bought. Lionator saying yellow and white are hard but not impossible. I'm not saying they're impossible. I just know as a veteran wargamer, like of about 20 years, more than 20 years. And look at this shit. I've more than 20 years of being in the hobby, and I know that yellow and white are not easy colours to pull off. You know what I mean? I'm aware of that fact. It doesn't mean I'm not willing to do it. I'd be apprehensive. I'd want to have a test model or two down, or find a decent method online and go from there. You know what I mean? And Clarkson saying build up from Grazer Bone. It's always a good idea. Dim Reaper saying painting white/yellow. Best way I found is undercoat, base coat, lead belcher. There's a spray and then paint white, yellow, red, etc. over it. Painting over metal seems to make awkward paints pop. Well, I have. Oh, I'll try not to knock it. I have some primer that isn't just black. Like I have some Vallejo surface primer in the greys. That's not cheap either. I have some like I have grey primer and I can get white primer, so you can do like zenithal sort of highlighting on the basing because I have an airbrush, so I could do that. So you can have gradients in the tone of the color before you've even put the color on. So you could even do something with just like yellow washes if you wanted to. Guff Scrap saying I paint white, then ink, then white again for my white stuff. Problem I find with painting white is that it's the ultimate highlight, but that's why you do the washes anyway, to tone it down and then bring it up again. So I'd probably start myself with an off-white as the base and then work my way up instead of throwing a shade on it, because I find a lot of the shades, especially for the likes of white and stuff like that, it might stain it too much, so it no longer looks like a white, more like a grey then at that stage. You know what I mean? Jackson is saying, white and yellow got easier with the new paint. Seems it's about time they released the new range. They always do every 2 to 3 years nowadays. They keep adding to the current range. They haven't had a massive changeover in a while now. How about instead of yellow or blue or red, paint them orange? Not seen an orange Marine Force. I'm pretty sure I've seen orange Marines somewhere along the lines. But I can't for the life of me think. I'm pretty sure there's an orange chapter. I'd be very surprised if there wasn't. I know it's not a primary colour. The old RGB. RGB Marines. LEDs out the wazoo. I'm pretty sure I saw orange at some stage. Oxa says, just put a bit of burnt umber in my white on a wet palette and use that as a base coat. Yeah, sort of off-whited a bit and then highlight up to the pure white. Guff Scrap saying, when they gonna switch out the damn paint bottles? Sit it down, the paint bottles suck. They do, but my sort of conspiracy theorist hat has me thinking that they probably intentionally keep them like this Because these gunk up and dry really easy. And if your paint's dry, well, then you're going to have to buy new paints. You know, so I don't know if it's part of the design, but they should have gone to dropper bottles a long time ago. Long time ago. Especially when it comes to mixing paints and stuff like that, you know what I mean? They just keep better. So some of the Model Air stuff I have, it's just, you've better control. Like, do you know what I really don't understand? I really don't get that Games Workshop have an airbrush line. So they have airbrush colors, but they have them in pots. I'm like, why? That literally makes no sense. It's like, all right, grand, I get a pipette, I put my pipette in and then whatever, but then you have to wash that out. You know what I mean? So why are they not in dropper bottles? Like, for instance, I'll show you here. These were the Forge World airbrush paints, and they're in paint pots. It's like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, the practicality and, like, Games Workshop and Forge World stuff, it's just, I don't know, man. I think they have good intentions, but they just have bad execution with a lot of stuff. Roof Scrap is saying Troll Slayer Orange. Paintballs, Citadel bottles sucks. Yeah, they do, man. Orc Stuff saying Tange Marines. Clarkson saying, I think it's Firehawks that are orange. I'm a check. I'll leave that in your capable hands as to which chapter it is. How long have we been rocking the boat now? Been going for 2 hours and 8 minutes, gents. So I think we'll be wrapping it up. We'll give it a miss. I am dying for something to eat at this stage. It being 10 o'clock GMT. We're going to wrap it up. So, I just want to have a reminder for you guys for the Paintboy giveaway before I finish this live stream. If you've entered it, so you've liked, you've commented, you've subscribed and added to your favorites, please change your settings on your YouTube channel so that all that information is public before I give the Paintboy away. Because if I do the draw and I get your name and I can't see that information on your channel, you won't win it. So if you're in the draw, go into your YouTube settings and make them all public. If you don't know how to do it, you can Google videos on how to do it on YouTube. There are videos out there to show you how to change your settings. So we're going to leave it at that for now, guys. I'm going to finish this guy off camera, and that'll be the last of my Primaris kill team ready to rock. Hopefully the next video up, we'll have a codex in hand that's due in on Saturday, and then I'll be reading through it, giving you my first impressions, and then I'll probably start getting the ball rolling in regards to my Blood Axe army. So I'll get 2,000 point list made up. I'll give you my honest opinion of the Orc Codex, and I won't make it too long. I'll read it beforehand. I'll bring up some points so that you don't have to sit there for 2 hours. And then we'll probably do like a live video of building all the new vehicles, since that's what you guys seem to want. So I want to say thanks for dropping in, guys. Thanks for commenting on the videos. Like I said about the Paintboy giveaway, make sure your information is public on your profile. The last thing you want is for your name to be drawn out and then you don't win it. So if you've entered in the Paintboy giveaway, make your information public. So we'll catch you in the next one, guys. Cheers. Thanks for coming by. I'll see you again.